Island, and I brought over Mr. Macmillan Coffee. Today we'll be dealing with mental health awareness. We know that May is a month to celebrate mental health, and I couldn't prime last month to get here. But nonetheless, I bring him because it's a very important topic and it affects the whole society, not just those who are living with persons who have a mental illness or disorders, but also their families and the community in which they live. Good morning, Mr. Coffee, and welcome to Policing with You.
Good morning, Inspector Edwards.
Yes.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Macmillan Coffee,
Yes.
and I am a counselor by profession, mental health profession,
Yes.
counselor, and I'm also the supervisor of the Behavioral Health and Wellness Center over in Nevis.
Over in Nevis.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Coffee, and welcome to St. Kitts. I hope it's not your first, and it will not be your last.
I actually did a stint here in St. Kitts for about 15 months. I actually lived on St. Kitts.
Oh, and you like it?
I love it.
Oh, good. So come back anytime.
Okay, good.
Right. As I said, May is a month that is celebrated as Mental Health Month.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us, what does mental health means, what is mental illness?
Absolutely. So what I'm going to start with, I'm going to give you the definition by the World Health Organization.
Yes.
And according to the World Health Organization, mental health is a state of well-being in which the individual realizes his or her own capabilities or abilities, can cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a contribution to his or her community. That is the definition of mental health. The mental illness, on the flip side,
Yes.
is characterized by a clinically significant disturbance in an individual's cognitions, emotional regulation, or behavior. All right, so we can behavior, emotions, and cognition. It is usually associated with distress or impairment in important areas of functioning. A health problem that significantly affects how we think, how we behave, and interact with others.
Wow.
It's a mouthful.
It is quite. Quite a mouthful.
What I want you to focus on is cognitions, our thoughts,
Yes.
our emotions, and our behavior.
And the actions.
All right.
Okay. And that is the illness.
That's the illness.
Right.
Yeah.
So we are saying that the mental health is what we will term people as normal.
In local parlance.
In local parlance, that's normal.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, because we will not know if you have something bothering you unless we see some sort of action.
Well, most times.
Most times.
Because some persons are very good at masking.
Yes.
And we can get to that later.
Yes. Yes. Why is it necessary to bring awareness to this mental health?
Good question, because being aware of mental health allows individuals to recognize warning signs. You just alluded to it. And seek help before problems escalate. By promoting mental health awareness, we can encourage individuals to monitor their emotional and psychological well-being and seek support when needed.
Okay, and this support, we can get this from families, we can get it from, reach out to maybe a center.
Maybe a pastor,
Yes.
a confidant, somebody that you trust, and of course, professional mental health professionals.
All right. I think you will leave out one important one.
Which is?
Our spouses. We should be able to communicate.
Should is the operative word. And that's a whole different topic. Because it comes down to relationship. If you have that relationship with your spouse,
yes,
that allows us to communicate between the two of you and rapport,
then it should be easy.
It should be easy.
Yes.
But that depends.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Who does mental illness affect?
Everyone and anyone.
Wow.
Yes, everyone and anyone. Today you and I may seem mentally healthy.
Yes.
But something may happen on the job, at home, with your spouse.
Yes.
You know, I can just trigger ourselves. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes all we need is a trigger. You know, and if we don't have good coping skills and mechanisms to deal with that stress, it can push us to a point where you really don't want to reach.
Right.
So everyone and anyone.
All right. Thank you. What are some of the prevalent mental health disorders or illnesses? We should term it like that.
Before I continue, I must admit that these questions are very good questions. When you send me these things, I look at those questions. I say, man, wherever I put those questions together is a professional. You know, I think that person's gonna run that show. You know, but it's alright to be here. But I tell you, you know, we
Thank
did
you very much,
yeah,
Mr. Coffey.
you're most welcome. But you
Yes.
know, we did a incident. We look at the incident rates of mental health disorders specific
Yes.
to NIVIS. I do not believe the situation on NIVIS is very much different from that of St.
I
Kitts.
think it's okay.
So I think I can talk, you know, to represent the Federation.
Yes.
And what we found out was that schizophrenia, which is one of the worst form of mental disorders, substance use disorders, and depression are among the most common mental health conditions we see here on the Federation.
Okay.
Now we can add anxiety. You know, we can add anxiety, especially for COVID-19. We saw a lot of that, anxiety and depression. But we can come to, I think there's a question aspect to that.
Yes. Yes.
But to answer the question, schizophrenia, substance use disorder, and depression. And you can ask me anything about substance use disorder if we have time. I can shed some more light on that.
Okay. I know we have quite a bit of questions, and I know we may not be able to get through with all of them, especially since we have persons listening out there in via internet and radio
But I
who
think
would
we do
want
well,
to
you know.
call in.
I think we do well, you know, yeah.
Who would want to
Yeah.
call in and voice their opinions and all of that, and maybe ask questions.
Right,
So we have
right.
to be open-minded
Sure.
to that as well.
Okay.
But I know the substance abuse thing. You can just give 1 minute of
Okay,
your
okay.
time on that. Sure.
So, what we've seen, right, is the introduction of the synthetic marijuana.
Yes.
You know, when you and I were growing up, you know, we knew about the natural herb.
Yes.
You know, and now we have the lab strains.
Yes.
And what happens is that because it's synthetic, you can manipulate the THC levels. And so, with that, it comes with its own dangers
Challenges.
and challenges.
Yes.
Now, you know, there is that big industry of the cannabis as for medicinal purposes.
Yes.
And of course, it has its rightful place.
Definitely so.
And hence, there are reasons why sometimes manipulating the THC levels for certain disorders. I know, for instance, for trauma, post-traumatic stress disorder, not THC, but CBD. Yes.
Yes, CBD. Yes.
It's used, you know, with veterans. Some experiments have been done, some research have been done, and that
Yes.
it seems to be helping. But the THC levels, and not just that, to transport those things back and forth from state to state, sometimes people try to camouflage the scent because they know
Yes.
the dogs, and so they pick it up.
Yes.
So sometimes even what they use to camouflage that chemical, plus whatever else they would have used to manipulate,
Yes.
come together, put all of that together, and then we have the brown, you know, like the
Yes.
dry tobacco,
The dry tobacco.
and the chemicals that they use on that sometimes
To preserve it
to
as
preserve
well.
it. All of that, think of that. I'm even hearing the embalming fluid that is to preserve dead bodies.
Yes.
I'm hearing some of that is being used.
Wow.
With some of that. So imagine
Wow.
all of those chemicals coming and
Going
in your system.
in.
So
That's
and then,
dangerous.
you know, our brains having its own chemicals like the serotonin and the dopamine.
And dopamine.
And when you add all of that to that, you can understand the destabilizing that going on there.
Yes.
So I'll just leave it at that for now.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'm a little familiar with the marijuana because I had to do a little research for my niece. So when you mention the CBD
remember that
and
conversation, I can
yes,
remember, yeah.
yes.
And just by your profession, I'm sure you know a little.
Yes, a little. I had a small course in investigating illegal substances.
There you go. I told you the person that wrote those questions look like they're going to run that program, you know.
Yes, I know. Okay, so why do persons with mental disorders find it difficult to seek treatment?
Yeah, the most common reasons people don't seek care is stigma. Stigma. Misinformation about what mental health really is, and what you can do, in terms of you come for help, there is help. One can talk about accessibility in terms of affordability, but the good thing about the Federation, honestly, I really do not believe accessibility is such a problem. I'll tell you why. The government has and it has been like that since I've been in the system.
Yes.
The medication that the person suffering from mental illness use is free to them. Once the government pharmacy carries it, it's free.
If
we don't have it, and they have to go to a private pharmacy, they will have to pay for it.
Then you have to pay for it.
But most times we have what they did. Most times. Okay. And so that's a part of trying to help with accessibility and affordability.
And affordability.
Yeah. But the main problem is stigma.
Is stigma.
Yeah.
How will society look at you?
And all the grading names that they would use to describe one that, and sometimes guess what?
And you believe it.
You not just to believe it. What I said was just what? Guess what? If you come talk to me, you come to Nevis and you just say, man, I'm going to pay my friend Mr. Coffee a visit. And I see you walk into the behavioral health, and when I said to her, not knowing just a courtesy call. Oh, long I suspect she,
Yeah.
You know the gossip go, right?
I know.
But let's not go there. That's another talk.
But can persons overcome mental illness?
Obviously, of course. Absolutely, yes.
With treatment?
Can. Yes, and let me tell you what. You will not know it, but there are a lot of persons who walk on the streets normal like you and I, in your words. Normal.
Yes, normal.
Yeah, like you and I. And these people have been treated, have some psychological challenges, and you'll never know. You know why? Adherence to their treatment plan.
Yes.
Adherence to the treatment plan is key, and family support. Key.
I agree with this. Family support is very important.
To answer your question, yes, persons can overcome mental illness. It is treatable. Most people diagnosed with a serious mental illness can experience relief from their symptoms by actively participating in an active or individual treatment plan. And if you adhere to it, your chances of being productive, remember that word productive in the definition?
In the definition, yes.
You can be as productive as anyone.
Okay, Mr. Coffee. We know that children too are affected by mental disorders. What are some of these common disorders?
So again, the anxiety and depression. The anxiety and depression, yeah. Especially when we look at the puberty and the teenage stage of development.
Yes.
Your mom, I just before we started, you're boasting and we have a 9-year-old, a 6-year-old, and so.
Yes, I have a 9-year-old.
Yeah. So you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
And you and I went through that process too. That stage of development. So the depression and the anxiety is not abnormal for anybody, going at any point in life. You see, anxiety and depression will happen. I think coping mechanism, identifying, early detection, early intervention is crucial.
It's crucial.
Yeah. But yes, anxiety, depression, oppositional defiant behavior or disorder, where the rebellious stage, again in the teenage life, at that time they gravitate more to their friends and mom trying to set them on this right path. But they think, oh, I'm
straight and narrow.
You know what I mean? And it's like, well, I'm just a woman, why she don't give me a break,
Yeah, she wanted to live my life too.
She had that chance and now she want to hold me down.
Yeah.
And well, guess what? When they hit the early 20s, they look back and say,
Mom,
thank you so much.
Thank you for holding me down.
You know what I mean? So,
yes, that happens.
So we have that. Yeah. We have the conduct disorder, and we have the attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD. I'm sure you have heard about that.
Yes, ADHD. Yes.
Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder.
Some of these, like the depression and anxiety, sometimes that could be peer pressure too.
The anxiety, and a lot of that you see. And you know what? Look at the with social media now.
Yes.
And it's at their fingertips.
Right there.
Right there. And you have the influencers out there. TikTok and all of the bloggers and all of them.
Oh yes.
And they follow them and that's their little gods.
I know.
And so I'm telling you, these people are powerful. The influencers out there are powerful.
Yes.
And you all of those lawsuits with TikTok and all of those in the US. Twitter and all of them, Facebook, and so people challenging that because they're saying that there's apparently some kind of thing about teenagers and body image and all of that.
Yes.
And so there's a lot of filtering now that has to be taking place as to what our young persons are exposed to.
Yes, what content that they would put up
Right,
on these
and how it affects them
on these
psychologically
sites.
and emotionally.
Yes.
All right, so yeah,
It's a big issue.
so your question, that's another good question, right?
Yes. Okay, just one more question before we go for a break. What is the impact of mental illness on the patient, the relatives, and the community as a whole?
So for some patients, it can be debilitating. Mental health and illness can be debilitating, especially when you're dealing with the serious disorders like schizophrenia
Yes.
and bipolar disorder, and so this can be very debilitating.
That's a big one.
And thus preventing them from actively participating in their personal, social, and professional lives.
Yes.
All right, and making that meaningful contribution to society. All right, caring for a person with mental illness takes a substantial toll on social relationships, employment, and income, and the psychological well-being of the individual and the carer.
And the care.
Most families fear for their future health, in addition to the stress of caring for their ill family members.
Yes.
And then mental illness can have a negative influence on homelessness. We see a lot of those,
Yes, we see a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Poverty,
Yes.
employment, as we mentioned earlier on, safety. When they have the psychotic breaks, they can, sometimes be
Yes, they
arrested
can
and so.
be, yes,
Yeah.
very.
And and it can even take a toll on the local economy. Because if just think about it, if there's somebody who is supposed to be working, but because they are constantly ill, they can't make that contribution.
Yes.
And not just that, but services have been provided to as I said, the medication is
To
free.
that person, yes.
People may not put a dollar value on it, but there is a dollar value on it.
Yes, it is.
All right, so that has to be taken into consideration. So mental illness can also negatively impact healthcare cost and lead to family and community disruptions.
Okay.
So yes, it can affect
Yes,
the patient,
holistic,
community,
everybody.
family, everybody.
Everybody. Okay. We'll take a break here, and on the next half, we welcome you to call and share in our conversation mental health awareness.
So I call Nanton for top class AC and refrigeration services. I said, bye, this the week for Father's Day. I may hear nothing. The man said, why? I just can call you, because between now and Saturday, anybody who purchases an AC unit will get the installation absolutely free. I said, oh, you're lucky? He said, we are dying it. The first service, free. Plus, you're getting a Father's Day gift. I said, what? Father's getting a little bigger, boy. Check them out today. Give them a call, 660-9899, 663-5314. They are located on the corner of Keon Street and Shaw Avenue. This special runs from now until Saturday, 15 June. Happy Father's Day from Top Class AC and Refrigeration Services.
Welcome to a world of care and convenience at FarmCare's newest branch at the Rams Complex Camps. We have on display a wider range of products, ample parking, and more space for your shopping convenience. At FarmCare, we cater for the entire family. For our beloved seniors, we have incontinence products and mobility aids such as wheelchairs, walkers, bath chairs, and more to help ensure their comfort and independence. For the little ones, discover trusted brands like Enfamil and Similac, along with baby care essentials and school supplies. For the energetic and young at heart, explore our health, beauty, and fitness supplies, along with household items. Don't forget about your furry friends. We have pet care supplies and Diamond brand feed. Come visit us today at the Rams Complex Camps and experience the farm care difference.
In these uncertain times, good health is a must. Let Quality Diagnostic Laboratory provide you with fast, accurate results of the medical laboratory tests that you need. At QDL, our qualified and experienced staff can provide a host of blood, urine, and other tests in a safe, confidential, comfortable, and welcoming environment. We are open Monday to Friday from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Saturdays to 12 noon. We are at the corner of Fines Avenue and Keon Street. Contact us at info@qualitydiagnosticlab.com or call 869-456-6657. And yes, Si habla español. Quality Diagnostic Laboratory. Excellence in performance.
This Father's Day, give Dad the gift of relaxation, fine dining, and luxury at Belmont Sanctuary Resort at Kitishan Hill. Join us for our special Father's Day brunch featuring a mouth-watering array of Kitishan flavors, lovely crafted by The Kitchen. But that's not all. Each guest will enjoy a complimentary glass of wine or champagne, perfectly paired with their meal. And to make it even more special, brunch for two will be included when you book 2 nights over Father's Day weekend at Belmont Sanctuary Resort at Kitishan Hill. This Father's Day, create unforgettable memories with Dad at Belmont Sanctuary Resort.
And welcome back to Policing with You. I'm your host, Inspector Shauna Francis Edwards, and I have here with me Mr. Macmillan. He is a counselor by profession, and I brought him all the way from Nevis. I have to share the love.
Share the love, of course, of course.
And our topic is mental health awareness. If you have any questions, anything you want to clarify, you want to share in our conversation, you know the number, dial the number, call us, and be a part of our discussion. Right, Mr. Macmillan. What part did the lockdown during COVID-19 played on the mental health state of persons with or without mental disorders?
Before I answer you, let me tell you something. You said earlier in the big introduction that you tried to get me here in May because May was Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yes.
Well, guess what? January to December
is mental health.
awareness. So it doesn't matter if come June or December. We all right.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
Good. All right, so the lockdown, the social separation and the isolation due to the restrictive measures, remember the curfews and the lockdowns, yeah? I mean, it really increased the prevalence of anxiety and depression, you know, among a lot of persons for various reasons. Persons who were literally locked down could not
You couldn't go anywhere.
Not just go anywhere, we couldn't do much.
Right.
And for persons who lived alone, it took a toll on them, even more so. You know, the good thing about it is that persons who had families where the relationship was close-knit, that worked. And you know what? I heard people said, man, boy, COVID did good for some people and bad for some people.
Yes.
You asked me earlier about the spouses and so. Guess what? If you had a good relationship with your spouse during COVID-19, you welcome COVID because you get to spend time with your spouse.
Yep.
But think of this the
on the other
individuals
hand now,
who did not have a good relationship and were locked down and were tied in, especially that household was too big, and all of you turn, you see that person in your face. Could you imagine?
Yes.
The kind of frustration, the anxiety, and it's just negative energy.
If the person just can't go,
you know,
just go and come back. Just.
So I'm telling you, you know, COVID-19 did, you know, a lot.
Good morning, caller. Good morning, caller. Good morning, caller.
Hello, good morning.
Can you speak up a little?
Yes, good morning. Nice topic.
Yes,
my concern, what consists mental disorder, or how that go about in someone getting mental disorder?
What constitutes mental disorder? That's the question?
Yeah, mental disorder, mental depression.
Okay. You want to know the causes?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he asking 2 questions. He asking about mental disorder, a more general question, and he's speaking specific to depression.
Yes.
Something specific. I'm not sure if he logged in at the beginning of the conversation.
Right.
But for his benefit, I'm going to give the definition of mental illness.
Mental illness, right.
All right. So mental illness and disorder is characterized by a clinically significant disturbance in our thoughts, our emotions, and our behavior. And it is usually associated with distress or impairment in important areas of functioning, such as social, professional, and in your family and personal life. All right, so that really encompasses what mental illness is. Now, depression, which is a specific disorder, can be characterized by symptoms of loss of motivation, hopelessness, feeling helpless,
lack of interest,
lack of interest in the things that
Yeah,
you
that
once
you used to.
enjoyed.
Right,
So no
right.
longer you're enjoying your hobbies, and you just isolate and recluse and withdraw yourself, and don't interact with others.
Right.
And so these, as we say, these symptoms are very debilitating because you're not as functional as you used to and
As you
enjoy
used
life
to.
as you used to.
Right.
I'm not sure if I'm answering the caller's question, but I hope I did.
All right. Good. There has been an increase in persons showing up at hospitals with mental illnesses. Are we in a position to handle this increase effectively?
So my question to you, is there really an increase?
Well, I would think so.
You would think
and,
so?
And I would say why.
Tell me.
Since there has been this recreational use of marijuana,
Okay.
This frenzy of young people feel like I can smoke what I want, I can do it where I want, and that synthetic marijuana that you talk about,
Yes.
it seems to be much more potent than what is grown on the ground.
Natural herb.
Right. So we have seen persons flooding the hospital.
Right.
So that's why I say I believe that there is an increase. But I'm subject to
To correction?
the correction
No.
if you can provide additional information.
No, I look like you made a very strong case to support
Thank you.
that question. And you're absolutely correct,
Yes.
You're absolutely correct. Where substance use disorders is concerned, we've seen an increase in that
Right.
area, in that specific
In that
disorder.
specific disorder.
Yeah, we've
Yes.
seen an increase, and again, for exactly what you and I have spoke about.
Yes.
The synthetic marijuana, the introduction of that.
Yes.
So, listen, I'll tell you something. Quite frankly, I've been in the Federation for about almost 4 years,
Yes.
and I had to go back to school. No, for real. They sent me back to school. When
Yes.
I started hearing about Kush and Granddaddy and
that's
Sour Diesel,
Yes.
and just name it. I had to go and learn about that.
Yes. Because they
I
have
was
all kind
not-
of names for them.
All kind of names, and I was
Yes.
not familiar with them.
Yes.
And then I had to learn the different strains and
I know
what
that
and
was
the causes. So then I have to know what is sativa
Yes.
and indica and hybrid and what
And
sativa does and what indica
hybrid does,
and what
yes.
hybrid does. So I learned that sativa, okay.
And
you
the
gotta get high and see.
potency of the
Remember I tell you
THC and
about
the CBD.
manipulating all of that? Alright? So if you want a little high and you're going to a party, a clubbing and things, you don't feel good, you want a sativa.
Yeah.
If you have sleep problems, you want indica.
Yes.
If you want to just be mellow and nice between the two, you take a hybrid.
You take a hybrid.
Listen, I did not learn that in school.
I can imagine.
Yeah, but
Yes.
it was, I have to learn them things because if I'm going to help persons,
You have to know
I
what
have
it's
to
all
know.
about. Yes.
and
Yes,
so
you have to know what
you're
it's all
absolutely
about.
correct, yes. But I'll tell you something. I also think that too, coupled with that, is that we've been doing a lot of education and awareness,
Yes.
in terms of mental health
Mm-hmm.
and destigmatizing, mental disorders, mental illness.
Yes.
And so I think coupled to what we just spoke about, coming together, all of that would have also contributed to the
To
increase. that we talk
persons,
about.
so persons now they are aware that hey, I can seek help. Help is there
And it's treatable.
and it's treatable, and then I will come, at least come back to live normal and contribute to society.
And the importance of being adherent to your treatment plan.
Yes.
Well,
that is important.
that's important.
Yes.
So yeah.
Okay. Are there any plans? Good morning, caller. Oh, we lost them. Okay. Are there any plans afoot for a new? Good morning, caller. Morning, caller.
Good morning.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Well, you've been talking about mental disorder and so on, but
Yes.
from the moment we opened the door and for marijuana for sacrament and so on, I know some young fellows who was going to school and they was doing very well in school. And then all of a sudden they start getting together every morning, like they're going on the job. And that's the first thing they do, they're smoking up.
Yes.
And when you return from work, they're still in the same place smoking up.
Yes.
Only thing practically could move them from there is the rain. I don't know what could be done. Because I think, in my mind, I hope that we have not lost that generation based on the fact that they're in a different world than the reality. Because once you're high, and they will be trying to get a higher high,
Yes.
by maybe adding something to the marijuana.
Right.
And it take a certain amount of control to control that. I mean, I don't know, but it's a frightening situation. My head and my back, my hair and the back of my neck stand up because I know that I'm not young anymore, and if those fellows don't pay Social Security, then nothing gonna be there for me. Because they have to be in the workforce and the work system. So
Yes.
I think we need, how can we get around that? We need education. How can we help them? You can't use force. You have to use, words of encouragement. And policing is not just force, but it's talking to people and encourage them to do the right thing and show them what is different and what could be better. So I'm not sure really what direction we're going. But whatever it is, we better to try. Whatever we try, we better be positive with it, because we don't want to turn away people from us. We want to draw people to us and show them that there is a better way. I hope that something could work out. Have a good day.
Thank you very much, Carla. It's a very meaningful contribution. And maybe just to expand on that a little, for the police, I can say that we have been going out in the communities, and we try to meet people where they are, and you try to develop a relationship with them. But a lot of them who use the marijuana, they have a lot of ill feelings and a lot of things that they don't want to divulge, but they have it in them. So it's like they try as much as possible to avoid having conversations with the police where it comes to the use of marijuana. Okay, so sometimes it's hard to reach some of those persons, especially if persons in their family use it like that and they're accustomed to use it. There is no way you could tell them that it's wrong, because first thing they'll tell you, my mother and my father, they use it and they don't give me. Right? And it's reality. I've seen it played out in primary school. I've seen it played out in high school. So on the street where they reach secondary and they decide they don't want to go to school, like I said, I've seen it. And some of it we have no control over.
True. Well said. Well said.
Yes. Are there any plans afoot for a new mental health facility with the ability to house those chronic patients over long periods?
So, from my understanding, for the next 3 years,
Yes.
through Taiwan ICDF, which is the International Cooperation and Development Fund, there's a public health project through the Ministry of Health on both islands in the Federation.
In both, okay, that's good. That's good.
Where there is a shift in the focus to mental health. So they use, right now as we speak, they're just wrapping up a project where the focus was on NCDs. Mark you, mental health is considered a non-communicable disease. But they were, I guess, focusing more on the diabetes and the hypertension.
Right.
But the focus is going to be now on mental health.
On mental health.
And so I believe one of the pillar projects is the renovation of the psychiatric wing at JNF.
At JNF.
All right.
When you say renovation, you mean to add more rooms to it?
I mean in the literal sense of renovation. In this renovation, it needs to be refurbished. I don't know when last you've been there, if you ever been there, if you ever visit there, but it definitely is.
Last time I went there, it was about 8 years ago.
Okay. Yeah, it definitely needs a facelift and some, not just a facelift, but in keeping with health, general health, I think we have some work to do.
Okay.
And so they have identified that as one of the pillar projects
that they will be doing.
And I believe if that comes through, I think it will be something that is really, really needed in the Federation. So that's in St. Kitts.
Yes. In Nevis now?
In Nevis. Well, even before we talk about Nevis, one part of this question was also about housing.
Yes.
Okay. In regards to housing of chronic patients over a long period of time, for a while now, over the last decade or more, the paradigm shift, the focus as we have moved away from trying to institutionalize persons.
Okay. I think that's where the stigma came from too.
Right, absolutely. Okay. And there have been some words that have been used to describe persons who suffered from mental illness, like lunatic and all of
crazy.
That. As a matter of fact, some people use some governments use the Lunacy Act.
Yes.
We've moved away from them kind of these kind of terms. So we've moved away from institutionalizing persons, and the focus is to stabilize persons, rehabilitate persons, and reintegrate them back into society. All right. And then I'm sure you are aware of the Dr. Arthur W. L. Lick Mental Health Day Treatment Center.
Heard about it.
You heard about it. Yes. You need to visit it. It's a nice center, very nice center, and so it's a bridge between the psychiatric wing at JNF and reintegration back into the community, where they will go in there, spend some time where they are rehabilitated, and through occupational therapy and some other therapy and skills too. It's like recovery.
Yes.
In the US, where they have the where persons go to the anonymous, the alcohol treatment centers.
Yes, the AA.
The A and the NAs, and so treatment centers. Then they go to halfway house, which is the midpoint
between going back into society and the treatment.
That's the same model here. That's the same kind of model, which I think is excellent. All right, yeah. So we have that, and then, as I said, the emphasis on recovery and rehabilitation. And so, in Nevis, at the Alexandria Hospital, we have the expansion project of the hospital that's been ongoing for a while. Upon completion, the plan is to move some of the services and some of the wards over to that new wing. And the plan is that we refurbish and renovate and use one of the wards as a psych ward. Now, right now as we speak, what will happen is that we treat most of our patients in St. Kitts at the in Nevis at the Alexandria Hospital. However, because we don't have a psychiatric wing as in St. Kitts, if the patients are combative and very aggressive, you could appreciate that we can really house them with on a medical ward with persons who are medically ill. Right. So we will transfer them over to St. Kitts at the psychiatric ward. What we are hoping is that once we can refurbish that room for that specific purpose, then you can have our own patients over in Nevis and don't have to even add to what you alluded to earlier on about increase in persons coming to the hospital here on St. Kitts and overwhelm the system more than it is already. And I think that would be great for the Federation. So that's the plan moving forward.
I like the project. It's a real good gesture. And the part about not institutionalizing these patients, that's real good.
We've moved away from that, and that's global. That was global. Okay. I think another part of that question was housing for convicted persons who cannot be facilitated in prison.
Yes.
I want to speak to that a little. We cannot. This really speaks to forensic mental health. Okay. All right. These persons who would have an issue with mental illness, but also they would have come in contact with the criminal justice system.
Yes.
And so, if they are sentenced, they have a prison sentence.
Yes.
Because by law they have a conviction.
They are prisoners.
We cannot take them out of the prison. Okay. However, what we can do is to provide mental health services which they are entitled to.
Yes.
Even though
while they are in prison.
While they're in prison. So even though they're in the prison, they are still entitled to their mental health services if they are challenge or suffering from mental health illness. So what would happen is that, and what is still happening as we speak, there's a program where the psychiatrist visits the inmates at the prison
Yes.
once a week to provide that kind of care.
Yes, I know they do have
Yeah,
a psychiatrist that goes to the
Right.
prisons.
So that's the you can refer to it as the forensic mental health services
Yes.
for persons who
For persons
are convicted. of that.
convicted.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Coffee.
That's it.
Yes.
Oh man, that was quick. We did well.
We still on the air. Yes. Are there any last words that you would want to put in with reference to the topic that we would have just covered, the mental health awareness?
So let me again really congratulate the police force really for the program and even choosing mental health as a topic, a relevant topic.
Yes.
Thanks
to my chair.
Okay, good.
Chair of my police with you.
I think
committee.
I think that was is a good gesture in the right direction. We at the mental behavioral health and wellness unit, and just mental health as mental health professionals, we work in collaboration with police. We cannot do this without the help of the police. We cannot. I know the police may not always be happy with us.
Tell me about it.
But it is necessary. It is. We cannot do it alone. As we said, unfortunately, sometimes we have patients who may have a psychotic episode and may be aggressive and combative. And so we're gonna need some kind of assistance from the police to help us restrain them, to get them the care that they need.
Yes.
I think this being here talking about mental health and mental illness shows that the police recognizes that this
it's important
issue of mental health is very important and that it needs attention and what we're doing right now is education. It's public awareness.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I think all of that helps to break the stigma that we're talking about and letting persons know that help is available to them.
Yes.
You understand? And so I really appreciate and I really enjoy my time here with you, sharing.
Yes.
I'm suspecting you'll bring me back.
Yes, I'll bring you back.
You'll bring me back.
At another time.
I'm going to come back at another time. So I'm inviting myself right now.
No problem.
But it was a pleasure.
Yes.
Yeah.
What I want to say at this point too is that remember that the police cannot function in a vacuum.
True.
And if someone has a psychotic episode and lives with relatives, we expect that the relatives will also share responsibility in getting that person to the hospital and not just leave it up to the police.
There's more to it than that. I don't want to trip you, but let me chip in here. I want to reiterate that point. When we look at our clients and we look at the prognosis of our clients, the persons who remain stable and become productive and can be, and stay well, are the persons where there is family support.
Okay.
Vis-a-vis those persons who do not have family support. Family support is crucial.
I understand that.
Health is a team effort. Whether it's mental health, physical health, is a team effort.
It's a team.
We need the police, we need the mental health professionals, but we need the families and we need the patient.
And we need the patients.
It's a team effort.
Yes.
And so you couldn't have said it better.
Yes.
You sure you don't want to take up a profession in mental
No,
health?
Mr. Coffee, I'm happy with you right now.
Okay.
Well, thank you again very much, Mr. Coffee, for taking your time to actually come. I know that we were scheduled for the the 30th of May.
Somewhere around there.
And you
Somewhere
couldn't,
around there.
and you couldn't make it,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
nonetheless, you did indicate
I'm
that
here.
you would come.
And I'm here.
And I'm grateful that you made
Yeah,
it. The
yeah.
information that you shared, definitely, I believe it was very pertinent. And persons who are listening, remember that it's not just persons with disorders that are affected. It's everyone that could be affected.
Anybody.
The community, the families, the relatives. We all have our part to play in the health of each other. And I close by saying Godspeed.
Godspeed.
Yes.
Are you tired of Wi-Fi dead zones in your home? The Cable has the ultimate solution with our whole home Wi-Fi